Hey, How to Buy a Home. He's really excited. I've got an interview today. This is Cynthia, who Cynthia and I first talked in 2023. And she closed a home in, what was it, July of 2025. And so the first thing I'm going to ask you, which I didn't prepare you for, so I hope you're ready for it. What's your biggest tip that you would give anybody out there who's trying to buy a home, especially people who think, oh my God, I'm a couple years away? What's your biggest tip?
My biggest tip is plan. And I know a lot of people use the get a unicorn, but that's it's so true. I mean, just having the plan, working the plan, and having the team behind you is just so helpful, because when you have a question, they're there to answer it and be there for you, and just follow the plan as one step at a time.
That's incredible because, I tell people all the time, the earlier you reach out, the better.
Mm-hmm.
You reached out to me in 2023. You bought a home in Florida, like Tampa area, right?
Hudson, Florida, so a little bit north of Tampa.
North of Florida. Okay. And that was kind of the things we were figuring out at the beginning when you first reached out to us was what's the right team for you? Who's got the right area? Okay. You reached out and we're looking for a home. You bought a home, $250,000. When you first reached out to me, your savings was pretty good. So talk to me about the journey for you. What happened in 23 and 24 that kept you in this planning period that got you to buying in 25?
So it's kind of funny. I think I found your podcast in 2022. So I was talking to you for like a while before I even reached out. And then you connected me with Ian, and I want to give him his props because that poor man dealt with me for over a year, answering my questions and helping me. He was awesome. And for over a year, he helped me with my savings, with my credit, with like every question I had, he was there for me. And then in 2024, where are we at now? Yeah. We finally started looking at houses the beginning of this year. I'm terrible with like the timeline. But
sure.
I had like a whole day where we toured houses. And another thing I just want to give him props for, after that day, he was like, I need you to have somebody who has a little more experience in this area. So he helped me for so long and still was such an amazing unicorn that he was like, let me connect you to somebody with even more knowledge and what you're specifically looking for. Because I was a weird case. My main thing was, they're like, how many bedrooms? How many? And I was like, no, I need 1 hour within my work and I need my horse to be able to move in with me. And they were like, that's it. I said, my budget is around 250. Good luck. And so I had that much time of planning, and with Ian's backup on, being ready with the credit, the savings, this and that. And then when you were able to connect me with Andre, oh my gosh, like he was amazing. First house, like I actually had it like ready to go. And I was like, can I go look? He's had me there that same day. Andre was awesome. He backed me up. I never probably would have, even my neighbor to this day, they're like, we were trying to get that house. How did you secure it? I'm like, this realtor, I don't know what he did, but he fought for me and got me the best deal. And just, it was like having so much planning ready, and then just your guys' team knowing what to do and how to do it just made it happen. And I called one of my old horse trainers, and I told her, I was like, you have to come see it. And she goes, I remember when you were 12 years old and this was your dream. And I was 25, now I'm 26, but I was 25 when I bought the house. And she was like, you're living the dream that you've had since you were 12 years old. And I couldn't be happier.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So many things to unpack there. So did you buy a property? Your horse doesn't have their own room, right? Like, how does this work?
So 2.5 acres. It's a manufactured home, which when I house hunted with Ian, I was terrified for. In Florida, where what you can get for $250,000, where you can keep a horse there, was really scary. And I started to get really sad. And then this one came up, and they had, because the biggest thing was it wouldn't pass inspection, right? So everyone we looked at wouldn't pass inspection. So this one, the guy had sat on it, the seller had sat on it for so long, he kind of learned that and renovated it, brought it up to inspection, and we came in right at the perfect time. Everything was renovated and up to par, and we jumped on it and got it. So yeah, now I'm on 2.5 acres. I'm so sorry I missed the first meeting. I was actually working on the property. It's kind of just forest out here. And so between just myself and calling on friends and family, we've been hacking down the forest and making it livable. And I just moved my horse in actually 2 weeks ago. We built a barn from the ground up. It's been the dream. And I moved my chickens in. Like, we've got a whole farm going on in here.
Wow. Okay. So this is unbelievable. There are two big pieces with what I try to explain to first-time home buyers about buying your first home. And it's that the pre-planning portion is so important. And then the second part is, don't think of your realtor as a grocery store checkout person. Just because you can find a home on Zillow, you just don't tell them, hey, here it is, scan it and buy it for me. You talked about the second unicorn who understood Andre, who understood how to negotiate for you. So those are two huge things. And then the third bonus thing was a real unicorn like Ian is going to work with you for a year to get your planning, your credit, your finances, and then go, you know what? I don't know this area. It doesn't behoove you for me to be your advocate. And that's when we went and found this other one. I haven't had anybody who bought a house with a horse moving in. So explain the differences. Like, what did you need when you did all your finances and the pre-planning stuff for a year or two? Everyone hear that? A year or two. Get started early. But then when you got with Andre, what type of properties, like, did you have an acreage minimum?
Yes. So my bare minimum acreage was 1 acre. You should really have 1 acre per horse, but I'm actually zoned on, we found 2.5 acres. So technically, the main thing is being zoned for agriculture zoned, AG zoned. That's where, you're allowed to have horses here. I'm allowed to have up to 6 horses here and 20 birds. So between my 15 chickens and my 4 ducks, we're right there. And but yeah, so just being able to find the other biggest thing, being in Florida, I wanted no flood zone. So it's like flood zone X is what the place is, which is phenomenal. So it's just checked every box that I needed. And Andre, the other thing was, we're on a septic tank system out here. And
yes,
when I tell you that Andre was like, I want to really give both Ian and Andre their flowers, because I felt so bad when I was like, Ian, you're dumping me after this many years. And he's like, no, I just want you to have the information you need and the right person you need. So he was absolutely amazing with the planning. And then Andre just swooped in and was so even the seller tried to contact me directly. And Andre's like, nope, send him to me. And he put out every little fire. Every time I called, Andre called me, he would be like, okay, here's the situation. Mind you, it took us 60 days to close. It was a rough time. And I was full-time working. I did this so I'm like, Andre, I'm sorry, I'm not off till 8 p.m. Can you talk then? He's like, yep, I'll be here. And then, but he would call me, here's the situation. And I'd start to panic. He's like, hold on, here are your 3 options. He never called me with a problem without 3 different options for me to choose from. And one of them was they couldn't find the septic tank. And so there was a missing septic tank. And they did locate it. They had to pull in specialists and this and that. But it was just every panic. I was so scared of listening to the podcast and everyone says it's so stressful. It's so stressful. I was kind of I was stressed, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Andre shielded a lot of that stress, because I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the stressful part. I am high anxiety just because, everything's going on. Every phone call, he had an option. And so he shielded me from a lot of the anxiety that it almost felt too, I don't want to say it felt too easy. It was definitely very hard. And he shielded me from so much of it that I couldn't have 100,000%. I would have never been able to do it without him. But I don't think I would have been able to get this house without him specifically. So he was awesome.
It's one of those things that happens a lot and that I tell people about. It's tough for me to promise, because I don't, number one, I don't want to explain to people Like, yeah, sometimes it gets really hard, but we fix it. And so then people go, oh, it's going to be easy. No. You have to do your part.
Yes.
You did the work. I mean, that's the reason why I wanted to talk to you, Cynthia. You did the work. I mean, I was getting the updates from unicorn number one, from Ian with everything that you were doing on your finances to set yourself up. Once you got in the position with Andre, understanding that you're buying a different type of home, there still are some of the things that are normal that we have to do. But then some of the things get unique, like trying to find your septic tank. So what kind of inspections happen when you're on a house with acreage?
So actually it wasn't too much more different than my basic understanding. It was a 4-point inspection, but then we also added, the septic tank inspection, which was optional, but I'm glad that we did because it was missing. And then
Yes.
that was a really good tip from Andre. He was like, you should probably do a septic tank and then the water quality testing. So having the same guy who did the 4-point inspection was able to get a sample of the water and do a test on that as well. But besides that, they said there might have needed to be like a building integrity test, but we ended up not having to run into that. But yeah, so really just a septic tank in the water, and it was good.
For the flood zone, was that something that you got the information before, or was that information through the inspection?
That was beforehand. It was actually even listed in the listing as like flood zone X, but then we double checked and looked at the elevation and whatnot, and it was good.
That's a big, important difference I don't think a lot of people realize is that a good realtor is going to be able to have some information, whether it's a flood zone. Here in California, we got fire zones, and, we also have flood zones too. Having the right team to be able to get that stuff before you fall in love with a house, before you write an offer on a house, is obviously a huge benefit from having an experienced person, so much so that your first unicorn who helped you plan for a year went, I don't know all that. Let's get you someone who does.
Right.
And that's just unbelievable. You talked about building a barn. Now, was that something that you knew the zoning beforehand?
Yes. So we did look into, Andre helped me talk to the city here and whatnot, and being agriculture zoned, they confirmed, like triple confirmed for me actually, that we're allowed to have, the 6 horses, the 20 birds. And then as long as there's no active like plumbing or electric in the barn, you don't have to pull a permit. So right now everything's on solar. Down the line, if I want to make the barn fancier, then, I'll pull permits and do all the whole 9 yards. But right now I was like, I just want to get my horse home. That's it. So we'll do solar fans, solar lights. I'm happy.
So Andre knew this is something that I've run into a lot. As a real estate agent, we will help direct our people to the city, to the city commissions, to the planning people. So did you go in and have a meeting with them and just like show them the property, and did they pull it up and say, okay, based on that, you can do this?
So actually, Andre handled the whole thing and emailed back and forth.
Wow.
He found the specific guy. Like, Andre was incredible. He handled everything. And he has sent me screenshots or CC'd me in all the emails of the correspondence. And they were like, yep, here's the legal part. Here's this, here's that. And then he went as far as to contact the guy and triple check, and then had the email and forwarded it to me of, yes, this is what's allowed. So it was awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
What kind of loan did you end up going with on a funky property like that? Usually people think on a property like that, you have to put a bunch down. What did you put down?
Was it 3%? And then the seller put in 2%? I'm trying to remember the numbers now because it's been a while.
So you got a seller credit.
Yes.
Do you remember what your total money was you had to bring to the table at the end?
Like $12,500 out of like what did I have? 30,000 saved up? I can't remember.
Okay, so this is something that I'm actually in the middle of writing a podcast about this right now about, with the Last Lease Ever program, I tell people to save 8% for a 5% down payment and 3% closing costs. But you ended up reducing the 5% down to 3%. And then the closing costs, instead of having to pay 3%, you got 2%. You bought a $250,000 home for under $13,000.
Yeah, I sure did.
Okay, so what were you renting before And throw in whatever you were paying for the horse.
Oh, yes. So I've been extremely blessed in the regards of, I don't come from a big family with money. Like, there was no borrowing money from anybody anywhere. However, I did as one of your podcasts say, the second best thing your parents can give you is I lived at home. So I lived at home. I saved. And then I actually worked at the barn that I boarded at. So I took care of their horses, and in turn, I had free board. So all I had to do is pay for my horses, vet bills, feed, everything else.
Sure.
I was very blessed in being able to save so much, because I think I paid my mom $100, maybe $200 a month in rent. And then I paid my own car insurance, the regular bills, but not having a rent and then not having board, was a blessing. And so all of that, I didn't touch it, went straight into the house savings fund. And that's how I was kind of able to do all this by myself.
It's a huge saving trick to live at home if you have the option.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of different people that I've interviewed who are like, my parents don't have the money, but okay, so in your area, if you were renting, and if you didn't work at the barn and were paying for that, what would your house rent and your horse rent, what would that have been approximately?
So my friends right now that rent pay between $2,000 to $2,200 a month.
Okay.
And then board goes anywhere from, if you take complete care from your horse morning and night, it can be the cheapest, $600 a month, but most is $1,000 to $1,200 a month.
Okay, so let's call it $3,000 a month if you didn't live at home and to board your horse.
Yep.
And what is your full monthly payment for you and your horse's house?
$1,927.
Jeez. And you own it.
And I own it. And it's mine. 2.5 acres in Florida. I still to this day, the whole first month, July, at work, they probably thought I was obnoxious. I kept going, guys, guess what? And they're like, what? I own a house. I was obnoxious and I did not care. I not only do I own a house, but I own a forest.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you get to walk out your back door and go hang out with your horse.
Oh, yeah. Midnight the other day, I woke up and I just went out to the barn and I stared at my horse. I'm I should be sleeping, but I'm just so happy.
Oh, my God. It's so funny because there's another interview I had with this gal years ago. Her name was Sally. First generation. No one in her house bought it. No one in her family bought a house. And she just used to walk around her townhome and be like, oh my God, I own this.
Aww.
And that meant everything to her.
Yeah.
You get to walk out and go to your barn in your forest. Oh my God. And it's less than $2,000 a month for you.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm so blown away by this. The process of deforesting the place. Were you going into this knowing that was going to be something that you were going to do and you calculated that in when you made the purchase?
Yes. I definitely knew that was, especially after looking at different places and understanding the state of the properties that, my budget allowed in this area. I knew it was going to be a lot of manual labor, and which is fine. I've worked with horses since I was 9, doesn't scare me. And I didn't really budget it into the plan because I kind of went with, guys, I have beer and pizza, who's available this weekend. So I've been rotating through. I usually get one friend or one family member for a day, and then they go, okay, I'll be back next month. I need to recover. I actually out and help me. He goes, he's hacking at stuff with a machete. Halfway through the day, he looks at me. He goes, Cynthia, you do a full-time job, and then this is what you do on the weekends. I will never blame you for the amount of caffeine you consume ever again. But I love it. I enjoy it. And so, yeah, we've just been, we enjoy it, and we're building memories. And down the line, I don't know if this is my forever home. It's 2.5 acres. I'm happy here as long as, who knows? My neighbors to the left of me have a really nice house. we always made a joke because one of the weird things was down the driveway, there was a split off that went to their house and you could tell they've been using it. And so Andre went through the whole process with the city and there was no easement or anything, but my neighbors have been super awesome. We introduced like ourselves to each other. And he's like, I haven't used the driveway since I saw you moved in. I'm like, okay, like no hard feelings, but just wanted to check. But so it's kind of a running joke because my family and my friends, whenever they're coming over for the first time, I'm like, there's a mansion to the right. Just keep going straight. That one's me. But down possibly we could always build something.
Okay, now you keep saying we. Is that you and the horse? Or did you buy this with a partner?
Oh, no, just me and my chickens, my horse, and my dog.
You and your chicken and your dog. Yes.
Yep. Me, myself, and I.
Gosh, that's so. Where you are right now is, I tell people all the time in the beginning, do the planning so you can figure out your options.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just research it on your own, you're never going to understand all your options. But now you have options as a homeowner. You know, who's to say if you end up loving it, if your horse ends up saying, this is my jam, I want to stay here, then you add on or build your own little mini mansion where you're at. My gosh. So do you pen the chickens?
Yes, they have.
Or do they just run around?
Yeah, they have a really big, so there are coyotes out here. So I built Chicken Fort Knox is what I call it. And they have an outdoor area that is fenced in. Outside of that, there's an electrical fence, and then there's a coop inside. So they have options to go inside. It's got netting on the top, so nothing can come down and steal them. But yep, we've got Chicken Fort Knox out there, and they have outdoor, indoor, little happy chickens.
And again, understanding this was the amount of birds that you could have was something that you discovered before once you discovered this property, before you put an offer in, you were like, hey, Andre, I want chickens. And he gave you the 20 bird max.
Yep.
And what about the ducks? Do they just hang out?
Yep. I actually just built a separate duck mansion. That's what I'm calling. So I had an indoor duck named Walnut. And he lived inside because I got him separately from the original flock because somebody called, and once they find out you have birds and land, they go, hey, do you have room for another one? And this little baby duckling that he wouldn't get along with the rest of the birds, and he imprinted on me. So this duck lived inside up until today. I just moved him into the duck mansion today, and he had little duck diapers. But I got him a girlfriend, a little Walnutta, and so I built a little duck mansion Sunday, and today's my other day off, so I moved them in this morning, and now they're in their little duck mansion.
I don't even know what to say. As a Southern California kid growing up and buying and selling in the suburbs, the only thing I can relate to is we do pizza and beer, but it's to help move a couch and or find the guy with a truck. That's it. Moving from apartment to apartment or apartment to house. We don't have to clear forests, and we don't have indoor ducks.
Not many
I just
either, but
yeah. And you know, people say to me, you know, you've been doing this first time homebuyer stuff for 6 years. You know, what happens? And I'm like, do you understand? I learn something new every day. I didn't know there were duck diapers. Now I do.
Amazon.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. I'm so all over the place with this. I love it. So back to the housing stuff. Mm-hmm. Because all of this stuff had to be part of your knowledge and your planning. Mm-hmm. When you're living at home, you're not just saving to buy the house, but you have to be prepared for that new payment. Yeah, it's $1,000 less than you'd be paying $3,000 out in the wild. You're only paying $2,000, but you weren't paying that every month. Right now, you're paying $2,000. Are you still finding a way to keep some sort of small savings? And you know, because what it sounds like is you've adjusted from saving everything to having your home be your savings account now.
For the most part, but I still have, and to be fair, I did follow your advice. I'm pretty sure I heard it from you. I was kind of doing it already, but then I cemented it once I heard it in your podcast. I was paying $2,000 every month because I paid biweekly, and $1,000 out of my paycheck went straight into the house savings. So really nothing changed in my budget besides instead of that $2,000 going to the house savings. It's just actually into the house. But since I've been
Practice payment.
right.
Practice payment. It's
Yes.
like step 7 or 8, I think, in the 10 steps. Yeah.
Yep. So I was doing that for pretty much the entire year beforehand. So luckily it wasn't a huge difference between that. And then just being out here, being happy. I don't, go out to eat as much, like that kind of thing. I have my own kitchen. I'm cooking. My friends come out. We play with the animals. We ride around on the ATV. So it's we're not going out and spending money. So anything, I've really just, been able to save and just be comfortable. And then that $2,000 just kind of rolled over into the house instead of the savings fund.
When you own a home at a young age, it can be very exciting because you can be the place for people to come and hang.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that many of those forest clearing days turn into some kind of recreational fun time afterwards, unless they're so tired they want to fall asleep and take a nap. But that's
a little bit of both.
Okay. And now you have, this sanctuary with a barn and duck mansions of all things, and a chicken Fort Knox. And you're how old? You're 26 years old now?
Yep.
Wow. The average age of first-time home buyers
35
in this year.
Oh, this year.
Just turned 40.
Really?
40 for this year. You are 15 years ahead.
Wow.
That's 15 years of equity that you're going to gain. That's 15 years. But most importantly, the bubbliness and the happiness that I can see in you, it's just so amazing.
I love it. I'm so happy. And it's been my family so happy. Like with everything going on, I did have a really, really, really bad year in the other parts of life. So to be this happy, it's just amazing. I'm like living my dream. I'm out here. I'm alone and I'm the happiest person I could. It's just amazing. And I'm listening to your podcast just motivated me since 2022 when I started listening. And just being like, one day. And then it was like, okay, I got the house. And then it was like working so hard to make it possible for my horse to move home and then getting there. And now it's like I'm sitting here and like I went out and I was just like hanging out in the middle of the night because I was like, I'm here. I'm living my dream at 26 years old and I made it and I'm so happy.
And it's such an important thing that I could talk about this forever, but it's such an important thing for you to acknowledge, like you did this, you put the work in, you found your original unicorn that helped you with all the planning. Like you should be happy and all that, but just like every once in a while, sit down and go, I should be really proud of myself. You put the work in, you found the right education, found the right information, not to toot my own horn, but no one's getting rich off a 25-year-old buying at the time, you're 26 now.
Mm-hmm.
No one's getting rich off you making a $250,000 and you got treatment from people like you were buying a $2 million place.
100%.
And that type of, when there's a full team effort, that's what gets us going. That's what wakes us up, the professionals, every morning. Because you think you're happy today. 5 years, 10 years, when you're chilling at 36 years old and your friends, according to the national survey, might still be renting. And you've got this incredible compound. And I love the fact as a single female buying. And I think we had one person first who said, my story starts like all good stories. It was a breakup. And she ended up being a single buyer. And she was a single mom.
Oh.
Now, she only had one child. She didn't have 19 like you do. So,
Oh, that's awesome. I will say, when the closing day that I met with Andre, we had come out to do the final walkthrough and down to the wire. This house was a process and there was a mystery puddle on the floor. And we were like, he's like, I don't know where this came from. It did rain yesterday. I'm looking for leaks. And so we were terrified. And so it was this whole back and forth, scary, down to the wire. We're like, okay, the seller's sending out his contractor. We're going to get, all the right stuff checked out, this and that. But I was supposed to go to work that afternoon. So we're like, all right, let's go. We're going to drive from Hudson to Tampa, sign the paperwork. So we signed it, and it was still to the last moment. They're like, is this all contingent upon like the paperwork that comes back? And so it was like kind of this funny touch and go. And so I went to work, and I was off at 5. So it was 4:45, 4:50, and my phone's going off, and I work with patients, so I can't really be on my phone. But I was luckily patients I know really well. And I was like, guys, this is like I close this on this house today or not at all. Like, can I? And they're like, go. And so I answered, and I look at my messages, and it's emails, and they're like, we need to know within 5 minutes. Like, is she okay with this? Is she closing? And so I was like, yes, close it. So it was crazy down to the last moment. And then they sent all the little texts of like, Andre's like, congratulations. And not going to lie, I heard your voice saying, we did it. No, you can do this.
Yes.
We did it.
Yes, you can do this. And for those people who haven't been through a typical home closing, they're not going to I understand, and it translates in my brain, everything that you said. Mm-hmm. So many people are concerned about buying a money pit. They're concerned about buying a place that is going to be a lemon. When you have the right team, there are so many layers of protection and so many things, and it will go all the way until the end, because there'll be inspection, and then there'll be another inspection, and then there'll be a recommended inspection for your specific type of home, like the septic, which was important because where the hell is it? But that walkthrough isn't just to go and see if they've repaired everything. That walkthrough is to make sure that, once again, one more time, is there anything unexpected? And we have the ability to say, we will sign, but the funds will not be transferred until X, Y, and Z is completed. A lot of realtors are never going to do that. But because you had Andre, who had worked his tail off, got you in touch with the city, got the septic, and did everything, he's not about to let you move in with a mystery puddle. So... Yeah. Were the seller credits part of a negotiation that happened post-inspection, or was that at the initial contract, like, we'll buy it at this price, but we want this much back to cover the closing costs? Do you remember?
It was kind of confusing because we did have to go back and forth quite a few times. But I think Andre had asked in the initial for three different things. Seller credit was part of it. I think... Oh, shoot. I should have it written down, but
sure.
Exactly, for sure. But it was a lot of back and forth, and the septic tank was a really big back and forth because the seller was like, well, I found it and it's fine. They said, my guy Willie said it'll be fine. And Andre was like, no, I'm not letting her buy this without assurances. And his big thing was like, he was very big on like protecting me from a lot and like things I probably didn't even know about. And because even my neighbor has said they went back and forth with the seller, and he was very difficult to deal with. And from the little bit that I saw, Andre shielded me from a lot and just really like went to bat and did awesome.
So in the original purchase, was the septic tank negotiation during the inspection period?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where we really need to step in and make sure that you are protected at such a major level. And thanks, but no thanks for your friend Willie. We're going to have our inspection team look at this, and you have the right to do that. They have the right to refuse it and say no deal. Yep. You may have negotiated a price a week ago, but where we come in is to make sure that, it's not going to be Willie's word. It's going to be something, and it can go all the way down to the last minute. And that's why you're not getting a grocery store checkout person. You need that advocacy. I mean, everything we've talked about, your dream and all that, it happened because Andre does this every day.
Yeah.
And, because we're here, and I just can't, I'm so glad that you took the time to come and share this story, because again, I learned a lot. Duck diapers. We have coyotes. I just close the door and don't let my dog go out. I never thought about building a Fort Knox doggy house. So maybe that's something I can do. I'm so thrilled for you and your horse. And as much as I appreciate and am happy that you had the unicorns to help you in the planning and then to help protect you, I do just want to make sure that you know how proud I am of you and how proud you should be yourself, because to take a plan and work it for 2 years. I mean, did you ever think when you first reached out to me that you would end up here?
Not as far as like, I was thinking like 1 acre bare minimum. And so not like, this is incredible. Like with this payment, I got way more than I ever thought I would. And way faster. I know people always say that they're like, it could move so much faster than, which it didn't, it took a couple years, but I'm here and I'm happy and it's amazing.
The reason it moved fast is because of all the work you did originally. When you were working with Ian and you hadn't found out that you needed a little bit of different expertise, because you were all set up. Once you got to the unicorn and had the expertise in your area, that's where things move fast. That's where you felt that it became a full-time job while you had your full-time job.
Yeah.
Yep. And here you are. Well, this is absolutely warms my heart. So I'm so thankful, and thank you for coming and sharing your story today.
And thank you for the podcast and all the hard work you do all day, every day, and for connecting me with such amazing people, because I would not be here without it.
We're stoked for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.